Because it always means. Don't be shy. It's your own team. If Landon, so like I was saying, that's literally what I do. There's so much people. 20 minutes go by and then they talk again. That wouldn't. Yeah, no, actually.
Yusuf talks, he gets a warning, and Christian talks like 1 minute later. Christian sits out, but Yusuf stays at 1.
3 people. So if 3 people are talking, and then it's person already done the same thing, like he takes away your warning, and then if you do it again, doesn't count. If you get a warning, like is there a way to like
undo it?
Yeah.
What you just saw was a whole lot of commotion. But although it was chaotic, it was organized chaos. And this is how rules should be made within a team. It shouldn't be proper. It shouldn't be politically correct. It should be people exchanging ideas freely at a constant and a high speed. And what this does is it enables people to get out their ideas quickly. And of course, there is respect whenever someone is speaking, but it's non-stop. Someone speaks, you're done, the next person goes. 2 people speak at the time, the person who spoke first goes, the other person waits. And sometimes you just get it to where some people are saying, you know what, I'll just wait my turn and then I'll go next. And everyone knows, okay, that person waited, let that person go next. These are the rules. These are how you make rules within the team. The next question is who makes the rules? The players make the rules, not the coaches. The coach has no say in what the rules are. The coach simply listens to the players state the rules that they want to make. And you would think that the rules don't make sense. Let me tell you something. I am 32 years old and these kids are 8 and 9 years old, and they are coming up with things that not even I would come up with by myself. They are coming up with some fantastic ideas. And if I were to make the rules on my own, not only would they not make as much sense, because a lot of the rules, when they say them, it's from their perspective. It's things that they're taking into consideration that I'm not taking into consideration as a coach. But these guys make so much sense. Their rules are so logical. And when they all come together, it is just unbelievable to watch. It is amazing that 8 and 9-year-olds can come up with rules better than me. If anything is difficult about this process, the most difficult thing is probably making the first rule. The first rule is the hardest because there is no previous experience to go off of. There's no reference point. There's nothing to refer to as far as what we did before. But it's not difficult. It's difficult to start initially because no one's done it before, so people are not really engaging as quickly as in the video you saw, where that was the second or the third time. I think it was the third time that they had come up with the rule. But the first time, all you do as a coach is you say, what rule will help our team accomplish the goals that we want to achieve for the upcoming season? That's all you have to say. What rule, not rules, what rule will help our team accomplish what we need to achieve for the next season? Generally, one person will come up with this, and then the first time you have to tell people to cooperate. You have to say, hey, we need more people cooperating on this rule. This rule is going to apply to all of you guys, so everyone needs to participate. The more people that participate, the better the rule is going to be. And let me tell you this, you have to force the players to speak up. You as a coach cannot tell the players what to do. You as a coach cannot make up the rules for the players. I cannot emphasize this enough. The reason you don't want to make the rules for the players is because there is no ownership from the players. When the players make the rules, they feel more of a duty to live up to those rules because they know, hey, we made these rules. I participated in making this rule. So I have to hold up to the rules that I set up, because what does that speak about me when I make the rules and I don't follow them? Even at 8 and 9 years old, that makes a difference. And players are more willing to follow rules when they took part in them. And that has nothing to do with kids, that's just people in general. Because they know that when these rules are made, they make sense because it takes the player's perspective into consideration. The coach's role is the easiest role you can do. All you gotta do is just manage the process. You don't have to think about anything. You don't have to come up with any brilliant ideas. You just have to manage the process. So in this previous video that I had of players making the rules, all I did was, in the case that players were speaking over each other, which I don't think happened, maybe it did, but usually players would be able to figure that out. Then I would say, okay, let's let this guy talk and then you can talk. Or I would say, if someone's not participating or someone doesn't want to speak up, I would say, hey, you need to participate, you need to speak up. So make sure everyone is involved in the process. Everyone needs to be involved. So in order to make this a little bit more organized, I would say, 1, make sure everybody is involved. You don't want 2 or 3 players to be making rules for the whole team. That's very important because everybody is going to be following the rules because it all applies to them. So you want as many people to participate as possible so everyone feels ownership. 2, you want to make sure that players are not talking over other players. In the few instances that players are talking over other players and they're not able to come to an agreement as to who should speak first and the other person wait, in these instances you want to say, okay, this person should speak first and then this person second. And normally what that is the person that spoke first gets to finish their sentence and then the other person goes. It's normally that easy. So that's the second one. Make sure that one person is speaking at a time so that everybody is able to understand what that person is saying. And thirdly, you just want to make sure that whenever someone speaks, everyone hears. So there are a few times where there's so much commotion where it's easy for something that someone says to not be heard correctly, especially when it's going on at the pace that you saw in the previous video. But it is important that, especially whenever you hear someone counter someone else's previous point, you want to make sure that's heard. It's one thing if someone is just adding on to someone's previous point in the sense that they're just supporting it. That one you can kind of let go. There's no reason to make sure it's heard if it's not heard by everyone. But in the case that someone's input is countered, you want to make sure that everyone hears it. So you want to say, hey, in some instances, hey, guys, listen up. Did you hear what this guy said? And really, it's just clarifying everything that every point that everyone brings. So the third point is just clarifying every point that is brought to the table, especially the counterpoints, the counter arguments. These are the 3 things you want to include in your role whenever you have your team making rules. And now I am going to show you the extended version of how that looks in real time, so you get a better idea of what to expect. And again, this is only I believe the third time that they've had this session before. So it's going to look different from the first, and I'm assuming that the 10th time it's going to look even more different. It may be more chaotic, but in the chaos is organization. And here's the clip. So guys, hey Landon, over here. So with the rules, we got to come up with one more rule. Okay, that's good. With one more rule for the team to help accomplish our goals here.
I have one for like this.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So what is it?
I don't want to do it now.
Hey Dylan, let's
I
go.
don't want to do it.
You gotta say it. Let's go.
Okay, fine.
Let's go.
I think we already wrote it. Yeah, I think we already wrote it.
Wait,
Okay, what is it?
Say it. Dylan, let's go.
Just go. Don't be shy.
Dylan,
It's your own team. It's your own team.
let's go, Dylan. You guys are the leaders here, so
You
let's go.
guys already said it.
What is it?
What is it? If we do it. Okay. And then, if we do it like one time, remember? If we do it one time and we work, and the other person does this.
Oh, so that okay. So there's a different. Okay.
That was my idea, right?
I don't know. So
This
this is what Dylan was saying. Dylan was saying if one
was
person
my idea.
if one person talks and interrupts and gets a warning, the next person who does it, it's gonna count on them. So it's gonna be like 2 for them.
Yeah, because they already heard the warning.
Does everybody agree with this or not?
Yeah, they already did. Do they keep the warning?
What do you mean? Do they keep it?
Like you said, if that person, if he, he's trying to say like, you know how that person already does the same thing? Like he takes away your warning, and then if you do it again, does it count? Is that count?
That's a good one. Okay, so let's say Landon does the first warning, and then you talk. You get the second one. Does that mean he's at 0?
No, that means he's on 2. No, that means he's at 1. That means he's at 0. That wouldn't.
So he's still at 1.
He would still be at 1.
But you're at 2.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait, no. Whoever starts it gets it.
So Yusuf is saying whoever starts it gets it.
Guess what?
So if Landon gets the first warning.
Say if Landon gets the first warning. Why is it always me?
What?
Do it. If Dylan, you always do it. If
No,
Dylan
okay.
Dylan just got a warning, and then Jad starts to talk with Dylan, that would count. He would get a warning because he started. But no, he wouldn't. If he started to talk, then he
So
would
because the first person started it, he sits out.
That wouldn't. No, Coach Kevin. So if 3 people are talking, and then it's Dylan, Yusuf, and Landon starts to talk, and Dylan and Yusuf join in. So Landon will get the points. No, actually, because he was the one who started. Actually,
Okay.
that wouldn't be fair. Okay, what about if that one is fair? It is fair. Wait, so what if whoever's just in the talk gets it? So say like Landon and Dylan are in the talk, then they both get it.
But what happens
No,
though?
guys, so if Landon, so like I was saying, if 3 people are talking, Landon, Dylan, and Yusuf, if Landon starts to talk, and Dylan and Yusuf join in, then Landon will sit out.
Get the warning.
Yeah, get the warning because he started it,
And what about them?
and they just get a warning. They should all get the warning because we all talk. But that's literally what I do. There's too much people talking. I can't record everyone.
Okay, hold
Gets it, but if Landon gets it and then he got a warning, then someone else did it, then they should get double because they already heard the warning. If you get a warning, deciding to do it. If you get a warning, like is there a way to like
Undo it?
Yeah. No. You have to go. I know something. Because if you undo a lot, no one will get out. Guys, I know something. So if someone talks, like, let's say whoever talks, they get a warning. But if someone else talks and they already heard him, heard the coach say not to talk, then they'll sit out. Yeah. Yeah,
So the second person.
Yeah, but it can't be like someone talks then 20 minutes go by and then they talk
Yeah,
again.
I agree.
That wouldn't. Yeah, no, actually, like as soon as you.
Hold on. Hey guys, come in. Listen to what Christian said. I think that's a good point. So put it back on Christian.
So if someone talks and then 20 minutes later someone else talks, they would just get a warning too.
Yeah,
I meant
Yeah.
I meant like if someone talks, they get a warning, and if someone else talks like 1 minute after the coach said it, like he said it, then they will have to sit out because they already heard it, and he will just he'll have a warning.
Okay, so what we said is what they said is let me not use Brandon.
Yes, finally.
Let's say if Yusuf talks, he gets a warning, and Christian talks like 1 minute later. Christian sits out, but Yusuf stays out 1.
Yeah.
But if Yusuf talks, and then 15 minutes later Christian talks, that's only 1 warning for Christian.
Yeah. So no one sits out.
Okay.
My hands are really tired. Do I stop?
Hold on. Put me in writing real quick.
So much. You might get 2 strikes.
Okay.
This is going to like me in 15 minutes. You might get 2. My hand's really hurting because of this holding. Yeah, it's okay. No, don't be strong, man. Be strong.